bring them out, bring them out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Come on. Bring them out, bring them out. Hey. Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. Hey. Bring them out, bring them out.
MIB, he's back. It's been a minute, y'all. But I want everybody to know I did miss y'all. We're back here, the Regular Guys Podcast, the week before the biggest event in the NFL, which will be in Pittsburgh this year, and that's the NFL draft. I can't wait till it comes to my hometown of DC next year. It's going to be probably one of the biggest spectacles or events out, because if you look at it, we got with the new stadium and stuff, and they're breaking ground, we doing our thing. So, with that being said, let's kick this thing off. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Regular Guys Podcast. I'm Mike Bowser. We got a focus 30-minute episode today because next week we're going full breakdown mode for the NFL draft. We got a focus 30-minute episode today because next week it's all the draft. Today is setting the table, understanding where a team stands, what they need, and how this draft could shift the balance across the league. We will start with the draft, hit the NFL uniforms, and we will also close with the NBA playoffs. Let's get into it. Let's get this thing jumping, and let's do what we do best, and that is talk some good football.
Coming live from the VIP, heard the nightlife, lost life without me. Most feds in the state wanna see by me. The whole city got pissed, heard he got three. That other nigga got a hip and shouted he not out. Who set the city on fire soon as he got free? The king back now, hold on, he ain't know how to act now. Hit the club, strippers getting naked before I sat down.
All right, we back. We doing our thing. Just gave y'all just a little bit of the intro. But first thing first, and to understand, this draft is not like last year's draft. In 2025, teams was desperate for quarterbacks. They that drove the top that drove up to the top of the board. Now that urgency isn't the same. Teams like the Washington Commanders, who already made their move with Jaden Daniels, so now they're shift focus from finding a quarterback to building a round one. And I think that they did that great in free agency, but they also have to address the other side of the ball as well. And that's where this draft gets interesting. So we're going to start with, let's say, we're going to start with the Raiders. The Raiders is a team that, they made great moves on the offseason. They made great moves in free agency. They're kind of trying to get into that mindset of saying, hey, let's get prepared for Mendoza. But the move that they made that I called was Kirk Cousins to the Raiders. And we're going to talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that because of the fact that a lot of people didn't expect, that to happen. A lot of people didn't expect Kirk Cousins to get picked up, especially by the Raiders. I like it. And the reason why I like it is because of this. You're bringing in Mendoza, and you're putting Mendoza in a situation that was built like Kansas City did with Patrick Mahomes, where Patrick Mahomes sat and he learned behind Alex Smith. He got to pick the offense up behind Alex Smith. He got to look and see and notice the different things, how the game really is. he was able to do a lot that he needed to do to learn to be what he is today. And that's why Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks there is. Um, Now it's you're approaching this year's draft, and everybody expecting this year's draft to be Mendoza, and you know I I don't see why it wouldn't be. Um, I don't see why they wouldn't make that move. It'd be crazy if they don't make that move. It makes more sense to make that move. Um, and then it made even better sense to get a veteran quarterback in front of him instead of behind him. So I think with that being said, it's something that's good and it's something that's worth, that's very interesting. Um, my co-host that normally be on here, Collins, who's the fan of the Raiders, he said he didn't like the move because the move basically wasn't something that he wanted. Like they didn't need Kirk Cousins, they didn't want Kirk Cousins and everything. But to me, I think that was a good move. That was probably one of the best offseason signings. You know that happened. Um, Now what's going to happen after that? Who knows? But what I can say is, it was smart for them to make the move that they made for the draft to get the quarterback, the help that he will need to learn that offense, but not only learn that offense, but also learn the NFL style of play. He gets to hear the plays being called in his ears. He gets to hear everything that's going on. So to me, that was a great pickup. Them. Now the other thing that I want to get into, the other one I want to get into is the number 2 pick. That's going to be interesting because to me, I told people, I said the draft probably won't start till after 3, well, after 4, because you know I got Lane going to the Titans. I got Ruben Bailey going 3, and either Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs is going to go 2. So really, the draft doesn't start till after 4. Um, do I think 5, 6, and 7 is going to have a chance to get a good player? Yeah, just depends on what side of the ball that they're going on. You got some people saying that Washington might go after Tate, or Washington might go after a wide receiver. To me, as a fan, I wouldn't want that. Go defense, solidify your defense. Now, this is the thing. You brought in people during the off season that makes sense. So you brought in your 2 edge and the Woozier and Chisley, and then you went and got Leo Chanel to play opposite side of Frankie Louvu and McGee, and then you go get your slot corner to play along with Mikey Sanders still, and to play along with Trey Amos. I like that. Now you got your true slot. You can keep Mikey on the outside where he's strong at, and you can keep Amos outside where he's strong at. Now, everybody is talking about the back end. Okay. And this is where I think a lot of us as fans forget. So Washington brought in Will Harris last year. They brought in Will Harris. Will Harris came in and did his thing. And when Will Harris came in and did they brought in Will Harris to go back there with Quan Martin. Quan Martin is developing. Quan Martin is, getting better. But is Quan Martin, able to hold that position down? I don't think so. I think Washington went and brought in Nick Cross, which is good. But the main X factor that everybody is forgetting about is Will Harris. They saying go get Caleb Downs. So that means what you're going to do with Will Harris. So it makes you wonder because you have Will Harris back there with Nick Cross, or Will Harris back there with Quan Martin, or Cross back there with Martin, or whatever it is. But they brought in Harris on a multi-year deal. Okay, so Will Harris is still back there. Now you're gonna put Harris with Cross. That means you put Harris back at strong, and Downs, at free. So it just depends. I would just like to see basically, what direction they going in that make it make sense and that will make it better for Jaden Daniels. I do believe that with that being said and everything, I think we are going to see a different offense, and we're all going to see a different defense because of the fact that Jaden is going to be a lot under is going to be playing a lot under center. And so with him playing a lot under center, it's going to it's going to look different and it's going to feel different with him playing under center. So I do think that they made the right moves. I do think they may go wide receiver. It just depends on what San Francisco is going to do with Brandon Aiyuk. They're holding Aiyuk hostage for no reason. Hey, the man, if somebody tell you that they want out, let them go. Don't keep them around. And I think that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing with that is what they're doing with, Brandon Aiyuk. But, it is what it is. So, but draft night, let's be clear. There's still going to be movement. There's always. Watch the middle of the first round. There were things. That's where things get aggressive. I do think that this is going to be the most traded first round in NFL draft history. I do think it's going to be a lot of trades. Either a lot of teams is going to move up or a lot of teams is going to move back. And I think with that said, when you have them teams that's going to move up, it depends on the team's needs that's going to move back. Now, you may have some teams move back that got what they want. It's good. You the defense is deep in this year's draft, no matter what round you're in. Teams will move up for a top tier pass rusher, a franchise left tackle, or a true number one receiver. We're going to see. We're going to see, how that happens. And when that run starts, it happens fast. If you wait, you will miss out. And teams know that. And that's going to be, again, something that's interesting, especially in this year's draft. That is a defensive heavy draft. You do got some teams that is going to go offensive linemen. So look for some guards to get off the board early. Look for some tackles to get off the board early. Look at different teams that is going to be doing different things. And that is where, we get into the dang, they shouldn't have got them, but they should have got him. Nah, they shouldn't have got him. They should have got him. So again, that's where that comes into play at on who should get what Who should hear what and who should do what and who should say what. And again, and again, we will see. We will see what happens. We will see what moves is being made. We will see what moves like the Dallas Cowboys are made. We will see what moves like the Giants, the Eagles, teams that people are talking about. We're going to see what some of these new coaching staffs is going to do. We're going to see what the 49ers is going to do. We're going to see what a whole bunch of these others are going to do to make that quick run or to make that run, that could put them in the playoffs or that can have them win their division or that can have them or that can have them. And also, I think they're going to look out. They're going to also look at win now mode. And I think being in win now mode, that's the teams that will panic. So let me, you know, sit back, watch, see how the draft board goes, and that's how a lot of these GMs is going to think. I want to see how this draft board is going to go. I want to see who's going to do what, who's going to make what. If I'm going to stay up top, if I'm going to move back, if I'm going to get more picks, if I'm going to get later rounds, if I want to make my team good, if I want to do this and do that. So it's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be a lot of jockeying going on, and I expect that. And with that said, we will see. I'm getting ready to jump into my second segment here. Um, and taking my second segment, we're going to talk the NFL uniforms. We're going to talk, besides even talking NFL uniforms, we're going to, go into the different styles of the uniforms and everything else. So we're going to jump into that in about a minute.
See a ball and money stacked tall and shack now. Still push a button to let the roof on the lag down. I'm on the road doing shows, put my Mac down. Mississippi to Philly, Albuquerque to Chat Town. I got the crowd yelling, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. All my hot girls yelling, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. All the dope boys yelling, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Front the backstage yelling, bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
All right, we get ready to jump back into it. All right, we're doing a quick shift. Let's talk uniforms because this isn't just about looks, it's about identity. The Houston Texans updated their look and it works. It's modern, but it still feels like their brand. The New York Jets are going back towards a cleaner, more crisp, more classic design. That's not a coincidence. Across the league, the trend is simplistic. If you look at it and you're wondering why does that matter from a professional standpoint, simple. Designs last longer. They transition better on TV, they connect better with the fans, and they don't need consistent updates. When teams over design, it usually doesn't hold up. And in this league, consistency matters on and off of the field. Um, if you look at what Washington did, I like what they did. They went back to the old uniforms, basically. But I think the thing that did it was their Hellraiser uniform, which is not all black. They made it look like all. They made it look like it's supposed to look. They got the black with the burgundy and gold numbers on there. Um, it doesn't look like what it did last year with the like we was the Pittsburgh Steelers. It doesn't look like that. Um, I like the fact that they took the name off of the jersey. Now you just went back to the classic old uniforms. And then the helmets, they went back to the glossy red helmets, which I definitely like. That was definitely cool. But I think the one that I like the most, and the one that has got me saying, hey, this is that one. This is that one. This is that helmet that everybody's like. It's the one that has a W with the spirit going through it. I think that one is top flight. That's a real good uniform. Um, that a good helmet, good uniform, everything. I love this everything that Watson has redone and to be consistent with what they're doing. Um, the other thing that I like about what they have done is also they changed it across the board. So everybody likes it. You get they brought the pants, the old pants back. They brought everything back that they should have brought back. So I like it. Now the Ravens, they had their reveal. Their reveal to me, it was okay. Uniforms don't look no better. They look basically the same because you couldn't tweak but so much. They just added the wording around the neck to say Baltimore, then something in the undercollar, and then the three wings or something that's coming off the shoulder pads. Again, it wasn't that that spectacular or anything to say, hey, yeah, theirs is good. But it is what it is. So now we're gonna spend the next, 6 to 7 minutes talking about the playoffs. All right, let's close with the playoffs. The NBA postseason is everything is where everything tightens up. This is no longer about volume, it's about efficiency and execution. If you look at teams like Denver, still one of the most complete teams in the league, led by the Joker. The Boston Celtics are disciplined, deep, consistent on both ends. And the Lakers, who knows? But I think OKC, I think this year's OKC, they're I I think they're gonna go back. I think they're gonna go back, and I think that they're gonna win it again. They're a deep, young, well coached team. Their roster goes deep. Their team is young and good. Um, but again, and they know what to do. They know how to play on both sides of the ball because this time of year expose everything. Defense weakness gets target and inconsistent consistency because of a liability, and the stars are expected to deliver every night. There is no margin for error, especially when it comes to the playoffs. And I think this year NBA playoffs, you want to have teams that is going to bring their best out. But I still think OKC is going to be that team to beat. I do think if OKC makes a if they in a team early and they sweep in the first round, it's going to be a long series for whoever has to play them, and it might be a quick series at that. So I do think OKC is going to pull it out. I do think OKC is going to, make some things happen, especially in this year's playoffs. It's a different one. I ain't gonna say it's a different one. It's deep. Got a lot of young talent in there. You got, Toronto. I like to see, what Toronto, how far Toronto can go. Can Toronto be that team that can go into the finals and actually challenge OKC? And I think if Toronto can be that team that can go in there and challenge OKC, I think we're going to be set up for a heck of a battle in the NBA Finals. I think you probably going to see a team like Toronto is going to take OKC to the brink. So that's something that heck, I'm waiting for something I'm looking out to see, and something I hope that does happen. Um, but it's also going to be something that is going to be good and something that is going to be worth watching. All right, quick focus. Today's episode today's episodes was about just touching on little things, just touching on the draft, just touching on the NBA playoffs. We're in baseball season. We're also going towards the end of golf. So it's, and then the XFL. They're doing their thing. They're bringing back. They're showing why they want the NFL to be more innovative and more like them. So you're starting to see all of that. So next week we go deep on the NFL draft. We will be broadcasting live as the draft is happening next Saturday. Um, I'm gonna try to fit in as much as I can during the draft. I will have my say, my critique from rounds 1 through rounds 4. For rounds 1 to when the draft starts on Saturday. So they start Saturday around noon. Expect to hear from me. And hopefully I have my team on here. We're doing our thing. We're making, we're talking about, why this team should have got this person, why this team should have, why this person won't be good on this team, why this person will be good on this team. So we will talk a lot of that next week. We will go. Um, I will give you a full breakdown, real analysts, and host reactions. Make sure you locked in for that. Make sure that y'all listening. Make sure that y'all there live. I want everybody live. I want everybody listening on the podcast and listening live, because I may have some people say, "Hey, I want to call in and I want to give my take," and I will. I will open the phone lines. I will open the lines. I will let y'all talk. I will let y'all do y'all thing that y'all wants to do. Uh, Again, the Regular Guy Podcast. We're doing our thing. We're definitely going to be live next week. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited because, like I said, I think the draft is going to start probably after pick 4. And I will, say, and I think it all hinges down to, I'm gonna say Tennessee. And I think Tennessee needs to, help Cam Ward and establish Cam Ward and to get Cam Ward better. And I think in order for them to do that, I think they need to start with the running game. They solidified a lot of their defense through free agency. They spent money through free agency, which was good. They also helped a little bit on the offensive side to help Cam Ward. What they did not help Cam Ward with is getting a running back. So I think getting a running back, I think getting Lane, um, if that's the move that they're going to make, is definitely perfect. I think, just the overall help and for him to be consistent and for him to be that quarterback that they drafted and to tell everybody why this is our number 1, I think that is good. So again, we will get a deep dive into it next week. I will be live while the draft is on. You will probably hear it in the background, but it's going to be interesting. It's coming from Pittsburgh, and then next year it will be in DC again. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. This has been the Regular Guys Podcast. I'm Mike Bowser. Appreciate you for listening, and I will catch you next Saturday at 1 p.m. Talking NFL Draft, live draft coverage.
With other rap nigga hooded than this, I got rich and I'm still on some hooligan shit. You be rapping by blow, I don't move in the shit. Talk about shooting out, now we're doing the shit. If I hit you in the face, you gon' be suing the shit. And if they wanna see by me, the whole woo! Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Come on. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Hey. Bring 'em out.
And that's the show, y'all.